Features of American Federal System. Introduction. USA was a group of colonies attempting to break away from the clutches of imperialist England. These colonies fighting the war did not want a central government with too much authority from which they were fighting to be free. This led to the creation of Articles of Confederation written in 1777, which granted substantial independence to the state governments and limited power to the federal government. The Articles of Confederation proved incapable of dealing with threats to the new nation when an uprising in western Massachusetts, led by Revolutionary War veteran Daniel Shea, who challenged the collection of taxes that benefited wealthy merchants. Under the Articles of Confederation, the Congress could not enforce laws, could not tax, could not regulate commerce, was unable to finance the federal troops to put down the rebellion. There was no executive branch, president, no judicial branch, federal court. This convinced those in power that the Articles of Confederation was not strong enough to keep them unified. The Confederation proved incapable of dealing with threats to the new nation, which led to the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787, where the representatives decided to scrap the Articles and replace them with the US Constitution in 1787, which was ratified by the US Congress in 1788. The US Constitution came into existence 11 years after the Declaration of Independence written by Thomas Jefferson in 1776 and 4 years after America's victory in the War of Independence in 1783. Meaning of federal system. One of the features of the Constitution is the federal system. Federalism means sharing of power between the national government and state governments. United States is a federation where the power is shared between the national government in Washington, D.C. and 50 state governments that have their own elected heads, governors, their own lawmaking bodies, the state legislatures, and their own court systems, the state courts that interpret individual state laws. The United States is a federal state due to certain features which are as follows. First, two sets of government. The US Constitution clearly outlines two sets of government, national government and state governments. Second, division of powers. The division of responsibility between national and state governments is outlined in the US Constitution. Areas like collecting taxes, providing defense, establishment of foreign policy, establishing post offices, roads, granting patents, declaring war, coining money, regulating interstate commerce are enumerated powers in Article 1, Section 8. The 10th Amendment reserved powers for the state in areas like education, establishing local governments, conducting elections, and protecting public health, safety, and morals. Apart from this, both levels of government share certain powers such as levy taxes, borrowing money on credit, establishing lower courts. Third, separation of powers. The Constitution separates the powers of government into three branches: legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislative branch, Article 1, consists of the House of Representatives and the Senate responsible for making laws. Executive branch, Article 2, the President who enforces laws and oversees the federal administration. Judicial branch, Article 3, the Supreme Court and other federal courts which interpret laws and administer justice. Each branch has its own responsibilities and checks on the others and ensures that no single branch becomes so powerful. Fourth, checks and balances. Each branch has some authority to check and balance the other branches. This ensures that no single branch of government becomes powerful and accountable. For example, Congress can investigate and hold hearings on executive actions, ensuring that the President and federal agencies operate within the law or else can be impeached. B. Supreme Court can declare laws or executive actions unconstitutional. C. President can veto legislation passed by Congress, forcing the lawmakers to reconsider and modify the proposals. Fifth, states' responsibility. Individual states have their own constitutions, which enables the state to create and enforce their own laws to their specific needs and population, but necessary to adhere to the principles set forth in the US Constitution. Thus, federal laws take precedence over state laws. Article 6. Sixth, separate courts. Federal and state courts systems operate independently but can sometimes intersect, especially in cases involving both state and federal laws. For example, environmental regulations, that is, the state laws conflicting with federal regulations with respect to pollution control. Seventh, bicameral legislature. The US Congress is made up of two chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House is based on the population of the state and consists of 435 members. The Senate gives equal representation to each state and consists of 100 members. 8. Dual citizenship. It means all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction are citizens of United States and of the state where they reside. Ninth, amendments. The constitutional amendments require approval from the states. An amendment has to be ratified by 3/4, that is 38 out of 50 of state legislature, or has to be ratified in 3/4 of the states. This ensures broad support across the nation for the amendments. This allows for adaptability and change. 10th, written constitution. The establishment of a federal system must be through principles embodied in the written constitution that explains the terms by which power is divided and shared.